that we didn't have a concept called angel funding. So today morning she was mentioning a concept where even US guys have picked up the term sheets which these guys have created. So that is the amount of thought and structure they have built into the whole ecosystem. They have tied up a lot, they've done a lot of deals in this particular space, right from 25 lakhs up to 2.5 crores. She has mentioned activity is pretty frenetic in the first 6 months of this year. Over and everything, these guys are trying to reach out to a lot more tier 2, tier 3 cities because that's where a lot of ideas actually come in. And we are talking actively on ways in which we can engage a lot more. So this will be the first session in this regard. We have a couple of action points going. One is having a much more closer association integration. One thing she's really keen is to have you guys, they have a space in Delhi as well. So any of you guys actually want to go to Delhi and spend some time there with their mentors and everything, she's very keen to start engaging you guys in this model. So we have a couple of action items in that regard. Without further ado, I'll just hand it over to Padmaja. She'll run into the sessions. You might have all the relevant questions about how to get funding, where to get funding. This is the right forum to ask. From whatever I've spoken to her, pitches are still key. You need to keep refining on them. You need to start thinking like a business person to get the actual money out of it. You should stop talking like a technology person. And this will be the first starting point, will be the real perspective. She's an angel investor herself. She's not just on business fund, she's an angel investor herself. And also be an entrepreneur. So she knows the tricks of the trade. Over to you, Padmaja. So we welcome you on board. We just have a small appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a delight to be here, actually.
So I'll just hand it over to you. And probably have someone else to do with these kinds if you want.
Yeah, it will be easier.
Right. Yes. So,
because the light is. Okay, so while that comes, let's not. So, I am assuming I'm speaking to entrepreneurs, right? Yes. And you're going to assume you're going to speak to the devil. Okay. The reason I'm saying this is because what Sijo has set me up is to really share with you what is there in 80% of the businesses. Okay? For us, only 20 to 25% is the technology. Because it is 80% is the business side. And I want to focus on 80% of that. Because I'm a completely non-geek person, don't understand technology, don't want to compete with you guys. Okay? So, Sijo's whole idea was that as we do punch holes, as we said a little earlier, yes, I am the devil. And I say this even to my angel investors, that you guys can walk away and say not interested. But I am also playing a devil with them to say why not, because I want to share that with the entrepreneurs. And similarly, I think the reverse is true, is why is a plan a good one? Why is this a great investment proposition? Why is it that you guys can do it? Is what you need to project to the investors. So that's where I'm going to just focus on the business side of it. I have one request. No deadpan faces, please. No energy, can't do anything. Okay? So I'm going to go through slides. The slides sort of move one into the other. Feel free to ask questions, but you'll find the answers coming. At the end, we will obviously have some Q&A, right?
So how do you want to do? Do you want to?
I'm going to go through the
entire session.
I'll do the entire session and then take the questions.
So you can use this also.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So, why is this a great country to be entrepreneurs? I like saying this because every single person comes to me and says, US is the most entrepreneurial country, it is where entrepreneurship breathes. Hey, listen, we are Indians, let me tell you, we have a great entrepreneurial gene. All of you all have done Indian history. Have you all heard about the golden age of the Guptas? Right? What is golden age? It is when there was economic power, people were prosperous, value was getting created, right? I'm not talking about technology, I'm just talking about wealth. Golden age means wealth creation, entrepreneurship means wealth creation. And guys, I am very proud to be an Indian, and I think we are the most entrepreneurial country in the world. And we have the genes. We don't do it straight, we do jugaad. But remember, we do it. Okay, so that's my first thing, that we are Gujarati entrepreneur.
And that's also Marwadi is talking.
I'm very aware. Okay. So in the 1700s, India gave 25%, contributed 25% of world GDP. Then came the colonial leader of India. But remember, again, we were not conquered. There was a commercial acquisition by the East India Company. So there was wealth acquisition. There was not geographic acquisition. I'm making this point because I want to say that we are not any less than anybody in the third world. We are much more. Okay? During the 200 years of the Raj, we actually dropped our contribution to world GDP to 2%. We missed the industrial revolution. We became a provider of raw materials and we became a provider of markets. So there was no value creation. We missed that bus. And then post-independence, we had the socialism era. We didn't do ourselves a favor, to be very honest. Our contribution to world GDP dropped to -2%. We were completely a country of job seekers. That's what we became during the independence. Truly and honestly. And then we were pushed to the wall in 1991 when we were on bankruptcy as a country, which was a great thing for the country, actually. Because on 21st July 1991, when the current PM, who was the then finance minister, all of you are very young, unfortunately. Some of us have grey hair will remember this. But it actually was a big favor to us. Because we were pushed to our back, gold was about to fly out of the country, he had to open up the country. From $8 a day, which we could spend overseas on a trip, we moved. And that created a completely new paradigm. The government could not hold a monopoly on cars, on phones, everything started opening up, right? And that was where the opportunities started getting created. So it is a pain point which creates opportunities. And this is another thing that I think is very, very, very genetic to entrepreneurs. It is a pain point. It is a need. Either there is a need or you create it. And the country itself faced it. And then started flowering the next phase of Indian entrepreneurship, which is what all of you are more akin to. Okay. 250 million middle class. This is a huge market. Every other country in the world is coming here, right, to make money. There's a huge perspective change also. The base of the pyramid was seen as a liability in this country. We used to look down on the poor, correct? We are looking at it as an opportunity. There is $1 billion fund that the National Innovation Council is putting, just to say projects or ventures from the BOP, for the BOP, by the BOP. Either of them, not all together, right? So you've suddenly created a huge market. And we have a role model. We have the IT industry. In 20 years, they moved from 60 million to 60 billion, and by 2020, they are looking at 200 billion. Boy, this is not sunrise. This is now major IT industry. And all of you, or most of you, I think, are from that sector. So we have a role model. And today's role models, who have entrepreneurial role models, we used to have the Tatas and the Birlas and the Himmat Singhas and the Kejriwals and the Bajoris. That was family money, right? They built it on monopolies, licensing and trading. There was no value creation in terms of IP. But the new generation of entrepreneurs, completely from first generation, middle class, people who are doing jobs whose parents were in IAS or in the army or whatever, middle class people who made it big. And this role model for us, all of us who are entrepreneurs today or who are in the ecosystem today, is huge. Because they understand and empathize the issues that we go through. So when we go, Sijo was talking about certain barter systems, getting goodies from corporates. These are all innovations which did not exist 20 years ago.
We didn't have any corporates also.
We didn't have any corporates also. The public market was not what it was. Dhirubhai Ambani was probably the first guy who broke it. So now we are seeing entrepreneurship taking off in everything. And I think I wanted to lay down because, you know, when I speak to entrepreneurs all the time, I speak to about 350 entrepreneurs a month. Many one-on-one. US is far better, they do this. Hello, we are far better. Please, let's pride ourselves first, because if we don't have the self-confidence, we're not going to do anything. That, to me, is the first assessment, by the way, for the founder of a company who comes in. If we don't have pride and self-confidence in your product, yourself, you're not going to go far. So what is it that the opportunities? We all talk about, you know, mobile phones. We are the largest growing market for mobile phones. Land prices are going up. Cars are multiplying. Gold is a big opportunity. Gold has hit 31,000 yesterday. All of these are not statistics, my friend. These are opportunities. This is the landscape of the market. This is the landscape of the needs that are emerging for us to create ventures. Right? I know of a guy, most of you are from internet mobile, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this guy I met, an entrepreneur, who's building an app to figure out through wireless mechanism by scanning what is the gold carat. You know, you have carat, gold is measured in carats, so you have 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24 is of course very valuable, so you don't use it in jewelry, right? The app is measuring the gold carat. What does it do? You don't need to rely on the jeweler. You don't need to go to the, you don't need to take his word for it. I don't even need his certificate. So these are the kind of opportunities. I'm just giving you one example to say, so what is it what one can do with gold? Here is an example. A dead asset? Well, somebody's made it a very live asset for himself, for sure. Okay? So what does entrepreneurship do? It moves job seekers to job creators. This is what you guys need to do. It is not only creating wealth for yourself, it is creating wealth for stakeholders that work with you. Again, let me go back to the conversation that CJ was having, that when he started off, there was this guy who was providing him computers, who was giving a credit or lending some scheme that they had figured out. Now, he's sort of partnered and he's grown with this, right? So what has the StartupVillage done? It has created value for the ecosystem, not only for themselves, not only for its clients, but other stakeholders. Because if your stakeholders don't go up, it doesn't work. So you have to be more open. Partnerships have to be there. Again, this is something we do look for. Everything that I'm making a point, please take it for granted that we are looking for these things. It's not just a line. I'm just trying to give you the background and tell you why. It has to create wealth for yourself, first of all. Entrepreneurship is an economic activity. Economic activity means wealth creation at any level, be it for a village, at a village level, incubator level, at an entrepreneur level, at an industry level, at a country level, whatever. If it is not creating wealth, it doesn't work. So NGOs may be of great value, but if it's not creating wealth, it's not entrepreneurship. It has to create innovation. And innovation is not only technology innovation. Because that is where today's entrepreneurship is creating value. A lot of large companies that you guys have come across, why are they investing in innovation? They're not getting any revenues from there. What they're doing is increasing their share price. IPs are getting created, IPs are being valued. Israel is known as the startup nation, but Israel is one country which has the maximum number of IPs created. And it's just the size of Kerala, probably, maybe a little larger. 600,000 people, 700,000 people. And creating the maximum IPs in the world. The economy is running on that. and it's surrounded by enemies. Right? Make sense? And that was my thought. So it's creating a self-sustaining economic activity around it. And to my mind, this is my view, that to drive all of this, there is just one model that drives this. It is risk finance. If risk is not taken by the entrepreneurs, if risk is not taken by the investors, this does not grow. And we can name it as angel investment, we can name it as convertibles, we can name it as VCs, I don't care. But to me, any model that man knows, this is the one model that drives actual economic growth. And this is important for you to understand, because when you go to raise money, remember your investor is taking a risk. And so are you, of course. So there are two risk takers coming together. Only then, to my mind, will economic development or growth of an entrepreneurial venture happen. So don't ask for money which has got everything tied in for you. It won't happen. Investors cannot ask you for things that everything is tied in. It won't happen. They can't have all the meat on the table and put a check. They understand that. We'll come to that later, but please understand this is the basis of why we have stringent terms and why you guys don't have, startup entrepreneurs don't have everything there. Both people have to understand this. So just quickly, I think your incubator and all of you would have anyway known this, but where do we sort of see the different kind of investors? We have ideation, where actually the team is putting in a lot of its efforts. There's very little money. There's a lot of thinking, there are a lot of nights up and beer and pizzas. But beyond that, there is really no money coming through. Right? And this is what gets valued when you come to the next step. Then you have deployment or the POC started happening. Right? Hopefully the government does give some grants. I don't know what happens here, how much you get. But typically in the evolution of a venture, this is where grant money comes. And for me, it's not only government grant money, it's family, friends, and fools money also. And some of the angels today are starting to come in here. They start putting in small amounts of money. Then you come to where you take the POC, touching the customer, and it's starting to grow. That's where the angel groups or the angel funds start coming in. Okay? So with larger amounts of money than the previous stage, so they want to see more on the table, right? Then you scale up and take it to different markets. You have the VCs coming in, and then you go IPO and strategic investor. So that's how the venture creation model or the journey of an enterprise happens. And as the amount of investment increases, the larger investors want to take lesser risk. To take lesser risk, the ventures need to have more stock down. That's in inverse proportion. So if you go to a venture capitalist and you say, you know, I'm starting out and this happened, because we speak to VCs every day and they send us a lot of their business plans that come in, right? And saying, listen, we got our POC done, I need 2 million. He's not going to come there. Choose the right level of investment where you are. It's very important, otherwise you're wasting everybody's time. And most importantly, you're wasting your time. So try and understand which is the kind of investor you should go to. Secondly, you need to also understand who in that segment is investing. So which angels, which VC funds are investing in mobile plays? You need to do that research. Just because there's an investor, write an email doesn't work today. You're probably being trashed if you're doing that. Believe me, I'm being very upfront about it. So you need to know your investor. You also need to know where has he invested something which is competitive to what you have, someone will invest more there. Right? This is very apparent when you go to a website. How do you do it? This is a question that comes to me continuously. So how do you figure out who's the investor I go to? So VC funds is simpler. They have websites. They say what their focus area is. They list out what they think they can offer, and they list out their portfolio companies. Angel groups, we're doing the same thing. If you go to our website, you will find all the investors listed there. You will see their domain expertise. You will see their interest areas, and you will see the companies that we have invested in. There's one minor change that I must mention. In angel groups, we do invest in competitive deals. The reason is because every angel does not invest in every deal. What we do is when we get a competitive deal, we don't share it with the investors who've invested in that competition. Keep this in mind.
So that's fine with the other angels that signed up with you? Yeah. Are they aware of this particular scenario?
Yeah. No, I am very upfront. Let's say there are 10 investors who invested in a deal, and I said, I'm getting competition, you're going to pay off this. Very transparent. Just as we're transparent with entrepreneurs, we're transparent with investors. But VCs will not do this. Okay? The challenge you have if you're looking for individual angels. Because individual angels, there's nothing unless he comes and tells you or you know him. Right? But you must, what I'm trying to get to from the previous slide was that you must know your investor. You must do research. You must understand where you are in your evolution. That's extremely, extremely important. Otherwise, even when you grow to the next level and you go back to the VC, he's disengaged. You know, he's evaluating. I saw this guy 12 months ago. He's taken 12 months to do this. You know, you're beginning from a different level. So get sharp on who you're accessing. Very important. Most of you have probably heard of this, but I'll repeat it. Who are angels? Okay, by the way, do you know how the word angels came into being other than the ones that live in heaven? So I'll just tell you a story. There are two origins, there are two stories to the origin of this, just so that there's some humor in this very heavy room that I'm finding. You guys don't smile a lot. I think you should not be out.
Yeah. You know when we are helped, right?
Yeah. So Shakespeare was putting up a production of one of his plays. Okay, I think it was Macbeth. And Macbeth was a very costly. Production cost was very high. Shakespeare, Wordsworth lived in penury till they died. Right? So they had no money. So this guy had a producer who had promised him money, who ditched him for whatever be the reason. Probably shipped him to sail the Vienna shores. So he was ready with his actors, he had announced the play, all of that had happened, and no money. So he went with his hat to all his friends and said, look, I need help. And there were about 12 people who got together who put in money. So they became the first, so he was very grateful to them, and they became angels for Macbeth's production. So that's one story. The other story is on Broadway, a similar thing happened. There was a play on Broadway that is more recent, in about early 1900s. The World War I had hit, depression had hit, there was no money, but creativity doesn't stop, right? There's no relation between creativity and money and economy, correct? So these guys were producing a play, and there was no money. And there were 5 ladies who actually put money into this production of this Broadway play. And there was no other word he could use but angels, both because they saved him and they were ladies. So that is the genesis of angel investment. Just thought I would add a little history. So what do angels actually do? Why do we call them angels? There's one part which is the investor part, right? Which is where they put in money. They put in money at a very early stage. They put in money which is their own tax-paid money. Okay? They put in money before any bank or institutional funding, be it VCs, be it banks, nobody comes in. That's the time when these investors come. Okay? But that's not the angelic part. And they're taking a very high risk. Remember the previous slide? Right? The angelic part is because these are people who are putting in money because they are absolutely connected with entrepreneurship. Most of them majority of them have made their money out of an entrepreneurial venture. So they have seen this as a wealth creation tool for themselves. And therefore they want to make more money on this. Right? Now, because they've gone through that whole cycle of startup to garage to IPO, they also understood the problems. So they are very willing to come in and help the entrepreneur. So they don't want to be a CXO, please. Either they've had their fill and their career is golfing, or they're probably sitting on a large conglomerate now. Correct? So they don't want to, go and make their own coffee. Let me make that very clear. But they're very willing to come and work with you on your strategy. You're stuck on an operational issue, very willing to give you a tip and help you out. Very, very willing to open up their networks, global networks of people. And that's the value add, which is the non-financial investment that they put in. And that to me is the ingenious part. So that also tells me, I must point out one more thing, is a lot of entrepreneurs come and ask me this question. So I'm basing my, I'm sort of bringing in the FAQs also. So I take money from a guy, how much interference will he have? Believe me, he's not interested. A 5 million company is not his interest. It's not worth his time to interfere. Right? Get that clear. Why would he interfere? Just because he's put in 50 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs? Why would he interfere? It's not worth his time. So, and these guys do not want to interfere. They don't want to be executive. If they do want to be executive and if they do want to do a startup, they will do it on their own. They don't need to look to you to do their startup. So they do not want to be executive at all. Okay? So this is a question that keeps coming to me. How much interference? The point is, you need to look at it the other way around. That if he's engaged, how can I derive value from him? How much can I get him into my office and make him put his time and money and mind space into my venture? That is where the challenge is. And I really break my head on this. That why are you asking me interference? You should be wanting him to interfere. That is where it is. And they're pretty mature guys. They've built companies, they've built teams, they've mentored people, they've mentored senior people, they've worked with corporations, international corporations. They know exactly how to handle these things. Okay? So, this is a very important question, is investors have constant access to high quality deals. So here is a bit of a competition landscape that I should share with you. So an investor has a portfolio of assets, right? So he's invested in FDs, he's invested in real estate, mutual funds, art, gold, public equity, right? And he's also looking at investing in startups. Now, each of these asset classes has their own risk and gain equation, right? So FD may give you 7%, very safe, right? Public equity on the other hand may give you 12%, 13%, but at a higher risk than, if any of you have bought Kingfisher like I did, then well, yeah. So that's the risk, right? Now, this asset class is sitting right on top, first of all. It's the highest risk. Now, when you are going to an investor and asking for his money,